The Northern Senators Forum, the NSF, has called for calm among Northerners against the planned relocation of the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria's headquarters and some key departments of the Central Bank of Nigeria from Abuja to Lagos. Although the Special Advisor to President Bola Tinubu on Information and Strategy, BayoOnanuga, has denied rumors that the president has plans to move the FCT after a department under the Ministry of Aviation moved some of its departments to Lagos, as well as the decision of the CBN to also relocate its Department of Banking Supervision to the state. According to Mr. Onanuga, the relocation of departments by the CBN and the Ministry of Aviation doesn't amount to moving the FCT to Lagos. The Northern Senators still say, though, that this issue needs to be addressed in order to promote the goodwill between Nigerians and government. And joining us in the studio to talk about this is the former member of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Segun Olulade. Thank you so much for joining us, Honorable Olulade, at this time. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, and thank you for having me.
But it's been a busy year so far, so many issues, cropping up at almost the same time. And now this issue, the government of the day says it's merely a distraction, but looking at the angle by which, first it was the ASF, the Arewa Consultative Forum, picking at this relocation of some departments. Now Northern Senators Forum are also, picking against it, though they have called for calm, but they say they are representing concerns raised by their constituents. What do you make of all these concerns?
Well, for me, I think we must tread softly in this country. Nigeria project must be paramount in our hearts. We're seeing so many sensitive things issues coming up. And I think from the part of the presidency, let me start from there. I think we need to continue to communicate. Information is key. We need to communicate accurately and promptly to issues that we know that the last election have divided us so much that every move now we reach so many meanings to it. And I believe that the information section of all the ministries and agencies of government must be proactive in dealing with issues. For instance, the issue of CBN moving to Lagos, or Department of CBN moving to Lagos. Which department are we referring to? The supervisory department of the CBN on our banking institutions. As far as we are aware in Nigeria today, 80% of the total banking industry head office are based in Lagos. This is the commercial nerve center of Nigeria. And in that trend, I believe that ab initio, there shouldn't be any reason for that kind of department to be in Abuja. When as they are in Abuja now, when any staff of that department who is to supervise the banking institution and also those who are supervising the financial institutions in Nigeria are based in Abuja. When they move from Abuja for any official duty, they get paid. They lodge in a five-star hotel, for instance. The flight ticket is there, the allowances, and we are talking as a nation today that we must do everything to cut the cost of governance in this country. If we must do that, we must look into areas that that have been leakages in our resources. And that is one thing that this government is out to do. If there is any government that I am so confident of the issue of being patriotic, being Nigerian, I think I'm surprised that anybody will raise this issue when Ashwadu, His Excellency, the President of Nigeria, Ashwadu Bola Tinubu, is president, because he's someone that does not see you as from any tribe you are from or from any religion perspectives. So he's someone that deals with you and deals with issues, being a patriotic Nigerian. And I find it difficult when when we start seeing things like this from even our senators, and when they are constant, might ask questions. Right. And I think they also have that obligation to educate our constituents, their constituents, I mean. So for me, I think looking at all the issues that the CBN now push forward after this outcry, and that's one of the reasons I said we should be proactive. Right. You understand?
Communicating.
And communicating accurately and promptly to issues that we know can bring these emotional or sentimental issues that we are aware of. We already know what is going on in this country. The presidency and the president of Nigeria is trying to bring everybody to the table. He's trying to reach out to those whom we even consider to be an opponent or to be an opposition, or those who does not even believe in the Nigerian project. He's trying all his best to do that. I think all agencies of government and ministries must also see to it. Every move, Nigeria will always read meaning to it because of where we are coming from. So I believe that with the presidency being headed by Ashwadu Bola Tinubu today, I think Nigeria should give him that opportunity to strengthen our institution. He has done it in Lagos when he was governor of Lagos. So we know him, that he's not a tribalistic person. And this rumor of moving FCT to Lagos, yeah. I find it very funny, because number one, moving the federal capital from Lagos to Abuja, well, because Lagos was already congested as at that period. And we also need a place that will unify everybody. And that is why Abuja was picked. And that is why Abuja is not meant for any tribe or any section of the country. Abuja is owned by all Nigerians. So wherever you are from, if you are from Enugu, if you are from Portiskum, if you are from Ejiri in Lagos State, if you are from Oyo, wherever you are from, FCT Abuja, we all own that community, so, that particular place.
So is the presidency doing enough in terms of enlightenment and education? Because this is not the first time we're having issues that got, let me use the word, a lot of people confused and elicited a lot of reaction and backlash. For instance, looking at what the Northern Senators have done. And there's another instance about the situation, the relationship between Nigeria and Dubai, where suddenly we heard that Dubai has relaxed all its curfew against Nigeria entering into the country. And some other stories like that as well. Are we doing enough to enlighten our citizens and to educate? Because as this story came up, like you said, it raised a lot of dust, a lot of backlash. A lot of people immediately thought that the FCT was moving back to Lagos.
Unfortunately, we must be frank with ourselves. This government comes in when there are so many issues to be addressed. And I think the people, even in the information industry or department of the presidency or even at the Ministry of Information, are still trying to settle down and be able to do.
This is more than 3 months.
Yes, let's give them that benefit of doubt. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt that they are still trying to settle down. They still have a lot to do. The National Orientation Agency have a lot to do in orientating the public about so many issues in Nigeria. So we need to come together. We need to be patient with this government. We need to give them the opportunity to be able to address some of these vital issues. When you are talking about insecurity, we're talking about ethnicity, we're talking about religious dichotomy or whatever. So we have a lot that we need to bring, that we need the president and the presidency or the federal government to bring everybody back to the table and ensure. And I must give it to Mr. President. He's been doing that since he came into office. And that is what I expect every agencies of government, every ministry to also do. You don't just throw things out. You don't just throw it out. And those who are working in the ministry should understand that when you are working in the federal ministry of such, you must have it at the back of your mind that you can be transferred to anywhere in the country.
And if you don't want to be,
yes, if you don't want to be transferred, you can stay in your state and work at the state government level. But once you are at the federal level, you can be moved from Sokoto to South in Bayelsa, or from Bayelsa to Oyo or in Osun. So we must understand that when you are a civil servant working at the federal level, you can be moved to anywhere. I find it very, very disheartening when I discovered that even some staffs of the agency, maybe because of what they get, staying in Abuja, because they moved to Lagos, they use public funds to stay in five-star hotels, they have allowances and also, and they don't want that to end. The CBN office here in Lagos, nothing is happening there. And there is also the issue of safety, even at the Central Bank in Abuja. So if the building is congested and the people there are trying to, reshuffle or trying to rearrange the department for efficiency purposes, I think we should give them that opportunity to do so. And I don't think that call for threatening. I think we must take politics away once governance starts. And governance have started in Nigeria. We must leave politics.
And in terms of communication and all the other admonitions that you have made so far during the course of this conversation, I wonder what approach the APC as a party should take, what you feel the APC should take or what you feel the APC should do at this time, because some of the senators who are speaking on behalf of their constituents happen to be from the party. APC, yeah. Prominent among them is Ali Ndume, who is a leading officer, in the Senate. He's attributed to have said so many things, among, some outbursts saying that, or asking the president whether it is Lagos that made him president as against the North. And then he's also talking about the president being spurred into these kind of actions by Lagos boys. But people, even his colleague, Karimi has said, Senator Karimi has said that, this is a lone statement. He's speaking for himself and not for the caucus of the party.
I think one of the things that the government must do also is that once policies that will affect the generality of the people is being proposed or being forged ahead, I think the party should be carried along. The party have that responsibility to also communicate to its members so that at the end of the day, everybody is on the same page. I think communication is still very, very vital. And I will say again that Senator Ali Ndume, respected distinguished senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, should be calm in throwing out some of these incisive statements that could cause issues not only within the party, but also as a country. We're building a nation. We're trying to bring everybody together. We're saying Nigeria belongs to all of us. We're saying this country is mine. This country is yours. This country is for us. Then we must see our leaders also believing in that same believe and project it and communicate it to their constituents. I mean, being a legislative is very, very important that you know how to communicate. Even when your constituents are trying to tell you things that you believe could destroy the unity of this country, you must understand that you have that onus responsibility to bring everybody. Project Nigeria is our collective responsibility. I must do so. So for me, I think the party must play their role. They must try to call to order where necessary when someone within the party is trying to destroy or bring issues like this onto the fore. I think I'm highly disappointed in those comments that came out of distinguished Senator Ali Ndome. I think we need to bring Nigerians together. We need to be one. That patriotic spirit must be spoiled in us.
Right. So if you're saying that the party should be carried along, which you said earlier, doesn't it make the presidency one for the party and not for Nigerians?
No. You see, the president's role on the platform of the party.
Right.
The party have a manifesto that they sold to Nigeria before Nigerians come in and bought into those manifestos. So when the government is running based on those manifestos that Mr. President campaigned upon. So if you are doing anything, and I trust Mr. President is a party man, or been our leader for years, so we know. And the agencies, the ministries, the agencies of government must see to it that those manifestos that we campaign upon should be at the forefront of our communication to Nigerians. So, I mean, bringing government is quite different from the party, but that is the platform at which you don't have an independent candidate in this country. So we campaign based on political party. And that campaign, that manifesto that the party communicated to Nigerians before they could buy into it, that campaign, we must not lose focus of it. So for me, telling them that this is the way we want to go about this thing, and this is what we want to do. And in fact, when you engage people, you get to learn a lot. You get to have so much input that will strengthen your policy. And that is what I'm just advancing, that talking to the party, bringing in everybody on the table and allowing them to understand what we are doing so that people will understand. So when they see things like this, they already know how to defend it. When you exclude people, when you don't communicate with people, they are bound to raise issues, or raise sentiment and try to conjure their own sentiment or their own views on it, rather than communicating the rightful things that they need to do.
All right. So there are also issues with the budget that has been passed. People talking about lopsidedness in it in terms of the distribution and allocation of resources. I wonder what you make of those claims. Where are they coming from, and how do we get past all of this? Do you agree?
No, I will not agree with that. The budget is the budget of Nigeria. It's the budget of renewed hope. It's a budget that have dealt with so many things that Nigerians have been craving for. Although we might not be there in terms of the kind of fund that is needed in view of where we are coming from, the kind of resources that we have now cannot meet up with the expenditures that is expected of us. But notwithstanding, it's a gradual process. So let's see how the budget performance of this year is going to look like. And we look at areas that have not been dealt with properly. I think it's a continuous thing. So if this year a particular area of budgeting is not being taken care of, that does not mean next year budget will not take care of such. So for me, I think we just need to be patient. We just need to be calm. We need the people to understand that budgetary is a continuous thing, and it also speak to the kind of revenue that you get to spend. And whatsoever you see on the paper, and one thing that Nigerians are also craving for is the reduction of our costs of governance. And that is sacrosanct when you look at the way things are going now in this country. And it's not just about Nigeria, it's global issue.
But are we seeing that now in Nigeria?
That is just one of the things that we have started seeing, that CBN is looking at, okay, instead of you taking 10, 15 of staff from Abuja to come and do supervision of banks that are based in Lagos, or for inspectorate department or institutions of financial institutions in Nigeria today, 80% of them reside in Lagos. This is a commercial nerve center of Nigeria. It's just like you thinking that, what will I say now? Let's say that the Apapa MPA should be, head office should be moved to Abuja. Where is the water? Do you understand? So they have
even
things,
the FAAN was always in Lagos before it was moved.
They just move it, and that's one of the things that we need to address. You understand? So if FAAN, that is, we know that activities of airline activities in Nigeria today, 60-65% of it internationally is here in Lagos. So why? And they have a building here. Now they want to move them to Abuja. They move them to Abuja to be renting offices.
Okay, so do you advocate that? Because the NCDMB as well has head office in Bayelsa. Do you advocate that for performance and for efficiency?
Yeah.
And so you don't have to cut costs as well.
Yeah.
These agencies of governments that have particular businesses in different states should be relocated to the headquarters, to be headquartered in those states.
Definitely. That's what.
So do you think we should okay, the Ministry of Petroleum Resources now, or NNPC, move it to Rivers State?
No, you see, the issue of NNPC is not like every other agencies of government. NNPC, they have their operational activities in those in South majorly.
Yes.
You understand? So those operational departments can be moved.
Operational departments can be moved.
Yes, can be moved.
For administrative purposes.
For administrative purposes can still be retained in Abuja, because that is where other international bodies, embassies are that we're dealing with. So they come to Abuja. They might not be convenient enough for them to say they are traveling to Bayelsa or they are going to Port Harcourt. But since they reside in Abuja, the administrative aspect of NNPC can still be retained in Abuja, while some operational departments should be moved. Enough of wastage. We are wasting a lot of resources. If there is a particular area where we get why do you think when you are citing industries as an economic secondary school textbook economic theory, that if you want to cite your industry, you go to where the raw materials are.
Okay. So
if the raw materials are in a particular area, you go there, and that is what we are saying. So if the raw materials of FAAN, the FAAN, is here in Lagos, let them remain in Lagos. If the raw materials of those who they were, and that's why we are not saying remove CBN head office from Abuja. No, we're saying remove a department or some departments of CBN that are their main jobs are in Lagos. There is a department in CBN, for instance, which talks about customer protection.
Yeah, consumer protection.
Yeah, the consumer protection. The consumer protection department of CBN, we cannot stay in Abuja.
Right. Okay. So your points are noted, Honorable Olulade, but we're clearly in a mess, aren't we? And how do we move? I'm talking about this ethnic mistrust. The Easterners, you know, these holes have been picked, you know, say talking about governance, equitable governance, and now the northern side, where many people had said, okay, this is even where majority of the resources, you know, have been situated. And now they too are also, you know, crying foul here. But people have said, come to think of it, it was created. This was a mess created by politicians themselves, especially during elections that we have just ended a cycle out of it. They use this to their advantage. And now that it is time for governance, you know, the dust is yet to settle. So how do we get past all of this? You've spoken about the role of the orientation agency, but do you really see them as, you know, having the wherewithal to clear this mess?
Yes, I think they have that capacity.
Or whether the politicians themselves should just clean up what they started.
You see, the politician, we will always look out for things that will benefit us as a politician to win an election.
Okay.
So when it is an election period, you should expect politicians to say things that will favor them, just for them to win an election.
To appeal to the crowd.
To appeal to the sentiment of those who are the electorate. So for me, I think we need...
But weren't lines crossed while appealing to the electorate? Didn't they cross lines?
They do. And one of the things that, I won't say they do, I say we do. So one of the things that we now need to do is to ensure that we educate our people more than ever. Before now, people don't really, they are not that concerned about what is going on in the country concerning the election. But today, the things are changing. The narrative is changing.
Right.
So also, we should also bring in issues that will unite us as a country.
Absolutely.
And bring people who will champion it and educate our people from the religious background, from the traditional institutions, from leaders of thoughts. And we need these people to start speaking and talking to us and demonstrating it.
All right.
It's not just talking. We should be ready to start demonstrating our talk.
All right. We'll rest this issue on this point. Clearly, work still needs to be done. Honorable Olusegun Olulade, former Lagos Assembly lawmaker, thanks a lot for your contributions. All right.